Welcome to Shankar's Daily News Analysis. Today's topic of discussion is these four articles. In this first article, we will discuss about the recent amendments in the Oilfields Bill, which is passed by the Rajya Sabha. And in the second article, we will discuss about the Lok Adalat, what is the jurisdiction and the benefits of it. And in the third article, we will discuss about the conservation status of the Indian star tortoise and why it is in danger, and the measures taken by the Indian government to preserve it. And lastly, we will see about the digital platform which is introduced by the ITC, which is a private sector, and that digital platform's name is ITC MAARS. We will see about the ITC MAARS from the prelims perspective. So without further delay, let's get into today's discussion. So take a look at this article. Here they have discussed about the recent bill which is passed by the Rajya Sabha, which is the Oilfields Bill, and it is raising two concerns. One being there is a increasing presence of private players in the oil fields according to this bill, and it can raise the environmental concerns. And secondly, it has shifted many powers to the center, and it can undermine the rights of the state regarding the mineral rights. And these are the two concerns which are raised by this oil fields bill. If you see the previous year question, you can see that there are many questions with respect to the mining of coal and other products. So it is very important that we understand what are the recent amendments which are made in this bill. So let's start the discussion. The first provision is that they have expanded the definition of mineral oil in this act called as the Oilfields Regulation and Development Act of 1948. So this act comes under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. First, this current definition includes the crude oil and natural gas only. But in the recent amendment, they have introduced these products as well. That is the natural gas, the coal bed methane, shale oil, shale gas, and gas hydrates. But you have to remember that they have excluded these products such as coal, lignite, and helium containing natural gas. So you have to remember what are the products included in this new amendment and what are not included. So these are the things that you have to note. And secondly, they have replaced the term mineral lease with the petroleum lease. So if you consider mineral lease comes under the state list, and the state has the power to impose tax on any mineral activity, and it has the power to collect the royalty from the mineral lease according to the term mineral lease in this Oilfields Act. But now it is replaced with the petroleum lease. So now the state has the power because this petroleum comes under the union list, and the center has the power to maintain the regulation of oil seeds and mineral products such as petroleum and other flammable products. So previously it was under the state list. Now it comes under the union list under this amendment because the term and the provision is replaced with the petroleum lease. So this provision will fasten and streamline the process of prospecting, exploration, development, and production of all the hydrocarbons, and it even improves the efficiency and governance because this term is specifically designed for the petroleum and gas related activities. Thereby it will improve the efficiency. Coming to the central regulatory powers, now the center has the main role in the rule making, be it in case of royalty or designing a lease terms, or if there is any dispute in the lease terms and what is the production quota. All the rules are made by the center now, and they will even oversee the environmental concerns. So there is a increasing presence of center with respect to this amendment, so that the power from the state has been diluted and it is concentrated to the center. So there is a concern over the federalism. The next provision is the decriminalization of offenses under the Oilfields Act. So previously or currently we have that there is a imprisonment and heavy penalty for the violation of the rules, but now it is replaced, that is the imprisonment and penalties of the criminal penalties are replaced with the fines, and this is beneficial for the private players as there is a reduction in criminalization, and they have also streamlined the process under the petroleum lease. So it is aligning with the ease of doing reforms for the private players. But another concern is that as there is an increasing of presence of private players and only the center is going to oversee this, there is a rising environmental concern. And secondly, they have focused majorly on the regulatory oversight of the non-compliance, whether they have not paid the royalty properly. All these things, that is non-compliance, are majorly focused under these amendments. So what can be the implications? As they have simplified the process, there will be more presence of private players and there is less penalty. So there is a rising environmental concern. As they have also introduced many unconventional hydrocarbons under the new definition of the mineral oil, we are able to meet the national energy security under many initiatives such as the HELP, which is the Hydrocarbon Exploration Licensing Policy. So we have discussed the criticism. Let me list out one by one. As there is a concentration of power to the center, there is a federalism issues. They have expanded the meaning of mineral oil and the central regulatory power has shifted to the center. So it has diluted the power of the state government. This is the second criticism. And thirdly, as there is an increasing presence of private players and the center is going to oversee the environmental concern, and thirdly, there is going to be less penalties and imprisonment. It is rising concern over the environmental safety. So these are the things which we have to understand and learn about the recent amendment in the Oilfields Bill. So with this knowledge, let's see a prelims question. Under the following hydrocarbons, which of the following hydrocarbons was recently included in the definition of mineral oil in the Oilfields Amendment Bill? So the correct answer would be A, because it does not include the helium containing gas. So the correct option is A. With this, let's see the next article discussion. So take a look at this poster which is released by the Delhi State Legal Services Authority and the Delhi Traffic Police. So both of them has jointly organized the National Lok Adalat on almost 7 court complexes across India. So it is not that we have to learn only from the article. We can also make use of this opportunity to learn about the Lok Adalat from the prelims perspective. So what are these Lok Adalat? So Lok Adalat, also known as the People's Court, it is an form of alternate dispute mechanism. So it reduces the stress on the court because they offer a quick and efficient solutions to all the disputes. So of course, few disputes are excluded under the Lok Adalat. We will see about that. So this follows the Indian tradition and the Gandhian principle to resolve the issues in an efficient and a simpler way rather than following a lengthy procedures as in case of courts. So they evolve to a solution with the help of a amicable dispute resolution. That is, they follow negotiation, understanding and communication between the aggrieved parties, that is the victim and the accused. They addresses all the pending civil cases and the pre-litigation cases. So what is the objective of this Lok Adalat? So the main objective is to address the lengthy procedures and the pending cases. So they offer a quick and an inexpensive justice. So why it is inexpensive in nature? Because they do not charge any court fees to the parties, so it is inexpensive in nature. Also, the justice is provided in a harmonious way. There is no defeat and only the problems are evolved through understanding and communication. So there is no winners or losses in case of Lok Adalat. This is the main objective of the Lok Adalat. And the first Lok Adalat dispute mechanism happened in the year 1982 at Gujarat, and it gained popularity because of the success. Eventually, under this act, which is the Legal Services Authority Act of 1987, this particular act gave the Lok Adalat a statutory status, and it also gave the authority to the Lok Adalat in such a way that they will have the power to pass the awards, and this award will have the same power that of the court decrees. This is the main thing you have to remember about the Lok Adalat. It has the statutory status under the Legal Services Authority Act. So what is the composition of this act? So this panel of Lok Adalat has a judicial officer as a chairperson. It also has a lawyer and a social worker. This is the panel of the Lok Adalat. And the Lok Adalat is organized by the NALSA, which is the National Legal Services Authority, and it is even organized by the state, district and taluk level legal services authorities. So in this case, it is organized by the Delhi State Legal Services Authority in coordination with the Delhi Traffic Police. It is even organized by the legal services committees of the Supreme Court as well as the High Court. This is the organizing agencies of the Lok Adalat. Now, talking about the jurisdiction of the Lok Adalat, it addresses all the pending court cases and the pre-litigation disputes. So, this is the jurisdiction. It addresses the matrimonial disputes and the compoundable criminal offenses. So, this includes any cases which can be addressed through compromise between the victim and the accused. But you have to remember that the Lok Adalat do not have the jurisdiction of the non-compoundable criminal cases. So this includes cases such as murder, also rape. This comes under the non-compoundable criminal cases. It cannot be addressed between the compromise between the victim and accused. It has to be brought to the court. So this do not come under the jurisdiction of the Lok Adalat. You have to remember that point particularly. Coming to the jurisdiction, it also includes the labor issues, the bank recoveries, consumer and the housing grievances. This is the jurisdiction of the Lok Adalat. So what are the powers of this Lok Adalat? So this has the same powers of the civil court under the procedure called as the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. So under this procedure, it has the power to summon the witness and to re-question the public orders. It is nothing but it can demand or ask the police to maintain the public order if there is any unrest among the public while hearing this case. This is called as the re-questioning the public orders. And third is they accept evidence through affidavits. So affidavit is nothing but it is a written statement of all the facts by the person or the party who are coming to the Lok Adalat, and it is declared as true when it is signed by a person. So they accept this as a evidence. In such way it will be quick and efficient in nature because it is going to avoid all the lengthy procedures that is followed in case of courts where they need technical evidence in case of civil cases. So the affidavit will reduce the time, and this is the main feature of the Lok Adalat. So what is the nature of proceedings which are carried by the Lok Adalat? Usually it is flexible in nature, that is it is evolved through communication, understanding and negotiation between the parties, and the proceedings are, that is the awards offered by the Lok Adalat are final and binding in nature, and it is non-appealable. So it will cut down all the lengthy procedures or the lengthy process which is caused by the frequent and continuous appeal of the awards. And lastly, let's talk about the benefits. As already said, it is inexpensive in nature because there is no court fees charged. Even if they have already paid the fees, it will be refunded once the problem is resolved. And they follow simple procedures, that is they follow communication, negotiation and affidavit rather than following a evidence in case of courts. So there is a direct interaction between the parties and the judges through a counselor. So this is also a feature of the Lok Adalat. And as already said, it is the awards offered by the Lok Adalat are final and binding in nature. It is quick and inexpensive, so it saves a lot of time to the parties and the government. And all the outcomes are harmonious in nature because there is no defeat in case of Lok Adalat. So these are the things which you have to understand about the Lok Adalat from the prelims perspective. So with this knowledge, let's see a prelims question. So this particular question was asked in the year 2013, and before going to that, we have an article in DPSP to ensure a free legal aid. So if you know that article, you can comment in the comment section. And coming to the question, with reference to Legal Services Authority, consider the following. The objective of National Legal Services Authority is to provide a free and a competent legal services to the weaker section of the society on the basis of equal opportunity. Yes, this statement is correct. And secondly, it issues guidelines for the State Legal Services Authority to implement the legal programs and schemes throughout the country. Both statements of this question is correct. So the correct option would be C. So now let's see the next article. So this article talks about a species called as Geocline elegans, which is the scientific name of Indian star tortoise. If you see the image of this particular species, you can see a star radiating pattern on its shell. So it is a yellow color star pattern on the shell, and there is an increasing demand for this particular species of tortoise in the global market because there is an increasing demand for this species as a pet. So there has been high trafficking from India to other countries for the rising demand, and let's learn about this particular species from the prelims perspective. Talking about the conservation status under IUCN, which is the International Union of Conservation of Nature. This organization was established in the year 1948, and it is known for conserving the nature and the sustainable use of natural sources. So they are known to maintain the IUCN Red List, and this species comes under the vulnerable, which says that it is in the high risk of extinction. And under CITES, which is the Convention on the International Trade of Endangered Species of Flora and Fauna, it comes under the Appendix 1, that is, it has the strictest level of protection and the illegal trade is banned. And the trade of this species is allowed in certain special cases, like that in case of the research. And we have an act called as the Wildlife Protection Act. All the species of the tortoise comes under the Schedule 1 to 4, and this Indian star tortoise are also covered under the Schedule 1 to 4, and it prohibits the hunting, trade and exploitation of Indian star tortoise under this particular Wildlife Protection Act. So the distribution of this species is usually in the grassland, semi-arid regions and scrub forest. This particular pattern, that is the star pattern, enables them to camouflage in this semi-arid regions, and it is usually widely spread in the northwestern part of India and in the Pakistan. It is also found in South India and Sri Lanka. This is the geographical distribution of this species, and it is often found near the human settlements because of the habitat fragmentation. So we have talked about the distinctive pattern, that is carapace is nothing but the shell. So the shell has a star-like pattern in yellow color, which enables them to camouflage in the semi-arid regions where they are usually found. They have a herbivorous diet and they feed on grasses, fruits and flowers. So they are nocturnal in nature, that is they remain active in the night, and crepuscular activity, which is they remain active during the cool parts of the day to avoid the heat. This is called as the crepuscular activity, and they have a strong attachment to the specific areas. So that is why in this article they have mentioned the species which are found have two genetic types, that is the species found in the northwestern part of India and southern India. So the genetic type has to be identified, and after trafficking and it is recaptured, it has to be released into the particular environment. This is insisted in this particular article. Talking about the threats, it is prone to habitat loss because many forests are converted into agriculture and urbanization, and there is an increasing demand for this species in the international market because there is a high fond for these tortoise as the pet. It is even exploited for the purpose of spiritual and ornamental purposes. So what are the enforcement mechanisms available in India to conserve this Indian star tortoise? Firstly, we have the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau. They will coordinate with the state agencies as well as law enforcement agency to prevent the illegal trade of this Indian star tortoise. They even conduct a rescue operation and arrest the traffickers. And the conservation initiative include setting up of protected areas such as national park, wildlife sanctuaries to protect and have a safe habitat for the growth of this particular species. And we have a specific operation which is organized by the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, that is called as the Save Karma. Under this particular operation, it prevents the illegal trading of turtles and tortoise in India. And we also have the CAMPA, which is the Compensatory Afforestation Management and Planning Authority. So they will restore all the degraded areas for the setting up of a safe habitat for the Indian star tortoise. And there is a partnership with various organizations such as Traffic. They will also prevent the illegal trading of the tortoise. And various campaigns, awareness campaigns are conducted by the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. So they will conduct awareness campaigns to educate the people about the sustainable habitat management for the tortoise. So these are the points which we have to remember about the Indian star tortoise with respect to prelims. So now let's see a prelims question. What is the IUCN status for the Indian star tortoise? It is the vulnerable status because they are the high risk of extinction. So the correct option would be C, vulnerable. With this, let's see the next prelims question. So take a look at this article. To improve the conditions of farmer, the interventions and the schemes introduced by the government is not sufficient in many times. So the interventions of private players is also essential to enhance the conditions of farmers, and one such initiative is ITC MAARS, which is a digital platform introduced by a private sector enterprise known as the ITC, and MAARS stands for the Meta Market for Advanced Agriculture and Rural Services. This is the abbreviation. This is a digital platform which provides various services to the farmers, and let's see what are the services provided by this digital platform from the prelims perspective. So it aims to connect almost 4,000 farmer producer organization and to benefit almost 10 million farmers by the year 2030. So they provide a range of services starting from customized advice on the seeds and soil quality for the farmers, access to seeds and the fertilizers, and various technological solutions to carry out a efficient and sustainable agriculture. Here in this paragraph, they have highlighted the services provided, one being customized advisory on crops and weather, and second, access to seeds and fertilizer. They also provide information of the prices in the mandis. Now let's see the services provided detailedly. They procure the produce from the farmer producer organization directly, and this will ensure a fair prices as the products are in larger quantity. So there is a better price discovery as there is a negotiation factor because of the collective factor. Secondly, they also provide personalized and customized advice for the management of crops and the farming techniques. This is the second feature. And thirdly, they provide access to high quality fertilizer that are specifically designed for each crops and the soil quality. Fourthly, they will geotag all the produce. This ensures that there is a traceability of the products from the field until they reach the market. So it will ensure the quality. So the quality assurance is the main factor that can be ensured with the help of geotagging. And the last services, they will provide many technological assurance, such as they will provide drones for the application of fertilizer in a precision way. They also provide many technological solutions for the monitoring of crops with the help of these drones. Also, they have a voice assistant specifically designed in this app called as the Krishi Mitra. So this is a Gen AI voice assistant which will provide the services to the farmers with the help of this voice assistant. So these are the major and main services which are provided by this particular digital platform ITC MAARS. So what is the role of farmer producer organization in this digital platform? So they are the backbone of this system because they will help in the procurement of products to the ITC MAARS, and it also facilitates a financial service and better price discovery. They are strengthening the rural economy because they are going to aggregate the produce, and this will provide a better price discovery. So what are the advantages of this? It promotes a climate smart agricultural practices and soil conservation because they will provide a real time update of the climate situation, that is the weather pattern. And secondly, it integrates the smart farming technology like the drones. It will improve the efficiency. It also supports the sustainable rural development and resilience to the climate change. So the interventions of private players is also essential to double the farmers' income, which is the goal of Government of India. So with this knowledge, let's see a prelims question. How does ITC MAARS support sustainability? A, through traditional farming practices only. No, this option is incorrect because they impart technological solutions and climate smart agriculture. B, by integrating smart technologies like the drones to promote the climate resilient practices. Yes, this statement is correct. So, exclusively through financial services. No, this is one of the provisions. So, this will be incorrect. And by engaging only with small scale farmers. This is also incorrect. So, the correct option would be B, by integrating smart farming technologies like drones and promoting the climate resilient practices. We have come to end of today's video. If you found the video informative, do hit like, give your feedback as comment, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.